Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Mr. Arias, and this is Math to the Point. In today's class, we're going to learn how to represent fractions using geometric shapes. So just to recap, what a fraction is basically a number that has a numerator and a denominator. And just to give an example of two fractions, I have them in my two examples here on the screen. This fraction here is the fraction 1/4. And as you can see, we have two components. One of them is the denominator, which is this number that appears underneath this line. And then the other number is my numerator, which is the one that appears on top of this middle line. Now, the second example that I have is the fraction 2/5 or 2/5. And this fraction is composed by the numbers 2 on the numerator and then the number 5 in the denominator. Now, in today's class, like I said, our job will be to represent these fractions using geometric shapes. So the rule we're going to be applying today in class will be the following. So anytime you want to represent any fraction using a geometric shape, you have to follow these 3 steps. Step 1 is to choose any shape. So you can use any circles, rectangles, triangles. It really depends on the situation. In my opinion, circles and rectangles and squares usually work the best when you want to represent the fractions, and that is because the second step requires that you divide that geometric shape into equal pieces. So that being said, rectangles, circles, and squares are going to give you the best time when you're dividing these shapes into pieces which happen to be equal. So that's only a quick recommendation if you're working on problems like this. Use circles, rectangles, and squares. That's my preference. So, and then, like I said, the second step is to split the shape into equal pieces, and that is going to depend on the denominator. Then lastly, the last step is to highlight as many pieces as the numerator in the fraction says. So that being said, let's apply these steps into an actual example. So for example 1, we have to represent the fraction 1/4 using the following rectangle. So step 1 says that I have to choose any shape. In this case, have a rectangle. That means that I can move on to the next step, which is to split this rectangle into equal pieces based on the denominator of the fraction. Now, since my denominator is equal to 4, that means that I'll be splitting this rectangle into 4 equal pieces. So that's going to be the next step. Okay, so now I'll be careful because I want to make sure that I split this up into 4 equal pieces. I'll begin with the center. I have now 2 equal pieces, and then I'm going to cut this section right here to produce 2 more pieces. And then lastly, we're going to go this way. Perfect. Okay. So if you really pay attention to this exercise, these pieces are not exactly 100% equal, but your job is definitely to make it as equal as possible. So let's pretend that this is an exactly perfect rectangle with 4 equal pieces. So now we can jump into the next step, which is to select or highlight as many pieces as the numerator in the fraction says. So my numerator in this fraction says that I'm supposed to choose or highlight only 1 piece out of the 4 pieces that I split this rectangle into. So that being said, I'm just quickly color one of these pieces completely. Oops, just quickly undo it. There you go. And then I'll be highlighting, like I said, only one of those pieces. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is how you represent the fraction 1/4 using a rectangle. Okay. And just to recap, my numerator right here is basically the number of pieces that you select, and then your denominator is telling you the number of total pieces that you have in that shape. Okay, Just quickly fix the E right here. I don't like it. Perfect. That's example one. Now for the second example, we're going to have this second fraction in which we have a circle. And as you can see, I already split this up into 5 pieces, which basically means that I already did step 1 and step 2. My shape in this case that I chose was a circle. And because my denominator is the number 5, I split this into 5 equal pieces. These are exact pieces, by the way, not like in the first example. So you want to make sure you get them as equal as possible. And because my numerator is a number 2, that means that the last step for this representation is just to highlight as many pieces within my circle based on my numerator. And again, because my numerator happens to be 2, then this is how many pieces we're going to select. Okay, so that's my numerator. And that means that I'll be choosing, in this case, I'll be choosing 1 piece. And then I can get into the next one, which is 2 pieces. And then the next one down here, which gives me, actually, it's only 2, right? There you go. So we only have 2, in fact. My bad. So we only have to shade 2 pieces, not 3. That was my mistake. There you go. Perfect. And now, ladies and gentlemen, this is a fraction that represents, geometrically speaking, 2/5. This is the shape, actually, that represents a fraction 2/5. Thank you for watching the video. I hope this helps, and I'll talk to you next time. Take care.